Well, if Abraham Lincoln had to endure appliance sales in his memories, why not veterans? A string of Memorial Day sales, well, in their memory. Here's the problem. The timing for all of this on their special day, Memorial Day, could not seem worse. Think about it. Between revelations this week, only one person has been fired at the Veterans Affairs Administration for all of those screw-ups. And Republican presidential candidates are tripping over themselves over whether the Iraq war was ever worth it. What's to stop a soldier or a veteran from thinking, you know what, I'm just worthless? Retired Colonel and former Congressman Alan West says none of these guys expects a thank you. But I got to tell you, Colonel, given the headlines lately, I don't think any of them were counting on a screw you. What do you make of this?
Well, Neil, you're absolutely right. It's a pleasure to be with you. As we go into this Memorial Day weekend, we should not be saying Happy Memorial Day. We should be saying Remember Memorial Day or Honor Memorial Day. And we think about right now the service and sacrifice and commitment, the willingness to give the last full measure of devotion to this great nation by so many men and women who now are seeing their sacrifices be turned into a simple political soundbite and response. Is very disconcerting.
Well, then what do you make then? Colonel, what do you make of a lot of these candidates from Jeb Bush to Marco Rubio? They get tripped up on this notion whether, in the end, knowing what we know now, was it really worth it? And a lot of them were saying, oh, no, you know, to pretty much at that point. Governor Chris Christie was saying, no, now, definitely not. He's the only one who was fairly black and white about it. How do you think that makes them feel? Whether you agree or disagree with that sentiment, and all the ones who lost limbs, some who lost lives, and their families are hearing all of that, how do you think that makes them feel?
It makes all of us feel horrible. Look into the eyes of myself or anyone who has lost a limb or lost a brother or sister over there in that Operation Iraqi Freedom, and tell them that they were a mistake. Tell them that you think that little of what they have done. And then try to get us to understand why you think you deserve the title of Commander-in-Chief. I think that if you had more individuals that had been on the receiving end of an AK-47, a PKM, or an RPG, they'd make a completely different statement. And we should be talking about how do we preserve that which so many sacrificed in the abilities and the incredible exertions that they did in Iraq, because now we have seen a vacuum that was left. Now we see an enemy that was defeated in Al-Qaeda in Iraq that has been reconstituted. And that is very, it's almost disrespectful and it's disgusting. And I got to tell you, anyone that says that what we did over there in Iraq, they see it now as a mistake, they're not going to get my support.
But now looking at what's fallen out and fallen apart in the Middle East, and many will blame the president, others will blame just the environment or whatever. These guys have got to feel doubly bummed out, right? I mean, especially those who fought in Ramadi and elsewhere. I mean, look what's happened.
No, you're absolutely right. When you are there as a young midshipman about to become an ensign in the United States Coast Guard, and the Commander-in-Chief tells you that the greatest national security threat is climate change, and that if you're a climate change denier, you're negligent and derelict in your duties, that's unconscionable, especially when you have 4 Americans being held hostage in Iran, and we're sitting at a table with Iran. That's the dereliction of duty. Or 4 Americans who were abandoned to die in Benghazi, and a false narrative, a lie was put out there. That's dereliction of duty. So I think that we're getting to a time where we have to have men and women, not just politicians, but those who understand what it means to be on this 21st century battlefield and to respect the service of our veterans. Those bureaucrats in the Veterans Administration, they should be fired, because what they're doing is absolutely unconscionable and it's appalling.
You know what I love about you, Colonel? You speak your mind. People can agree or disagree with you, but you answer a question. You're very, very clear. I want to thank you for that, but more importantly, especially going into this weekend, I want to thank you for your service, Colonel, and all of those you represent. Thank you very, very much.
Thank you, Neil. It's a pleasure to be with you.